I'm on. Peace, YouTube. This is Florboon coming to you today with some amazing discoveries. So check on in. I know I'm coming in impromptu. I was supposed to come on. Actually, I uploaded a video yesterday, and for some reason it didn't upload. I don't know why. So let me know if you can hear me. I'm out and about. I'm out in the back in the days. I'm out in the public domain. I'm out in the public domain. Let me know if you can hear me. Peace, everybody. Bonjour, bonjour. Comment ça va? Everyone's out. The hologram. Listen, as soon as you're on, the hologram starts spawning. Like, no, it's quiet. And as soon as I'm active, the holographic people start showing up. The Sims are out of control, y'all. Check on it. Bonjour. Ça passe. Boa tarde. Okay. Check on in. I'm super duper in paranoid mode, y'all. I am out in the public domain, but I had to come to you to discuss a couple things. So check on in. I hope everybody's doing well. The weather is warm, as you see. My clothing is getting lesser and lesser. It's a good sign that I'm getting in warmer temperatures. Fleur is a tropical jungle woman. If you don't know, now you know. Okay. I am meant to be in the jungle with my jungle man, right? So, I like to be in the jungle with my ape man, sleeping in my tree house, eating on fresh fruit and vegetables, close by a waterfall, free and clear. But unfortunately, this planet is occupied by nefarious custodians that have ruined our peace of mind on this planet. So now you have to see me in civilian clothing and, and looking like I'm under surveillance all the time. So check on it. Check on in. I hope everybody's doing well. I can kind of see your comments. I've got my incognito glasses on. I don't know if it'll let me. I don't see the chat moving. The chat is moving. All right. So check on it. And like I'd like to give a PSA, just because little people, like big up to the mommies and daddies, abuelitas and granddaddies. This channel is child friendly most times because I understand as having little people myself that it's inappropriate for us to use belligerent language and expletives. So I will say this video I can't say will be very child friendly. So I would always say, for good measure and for your security and for the peace of mind of your little ones, always have earbuds on them or send them inside the room. Like if you have your little sons, let them go play Legos, give yourself a little time so that we can have a nice discussion amongst each other without thinking that we're going to um, toy with our little ones' minds and mess them up because, the world will already do that. We don't need to be we don't need to be a participant in the downfall of our children, at least not purposefully. So check on it. Okay. So I'm gonna I'll probably start. Oh, the hologram is coming. Hold on. Holographic beings are spawning. People are very, as soon as I sit and have a conversation, like people are really nosy. As soon as they see me talking to you fine folk, they just want to come really close. Okay. So check on it. Hello, hello. I have not shapeshifted, so if you were thinking I'm shapeshifting, my eyes are quite the same. Ooh, these sunglasses are causing me to have a little thing. Hey, 7 grams, I miss you. I know I haven't been on in a while. I'm up to drinking coffee, so I'm diabolical today, y'all. When I'm drinking coffee, I'm off the mother freaking rails. So I'm hyped up, high off caffeine, which I'm not supposed to be on. Remember, I fell off the wagon a couple times. So big up to all you caffeine addicted folk out here who like to dose up with caffeine just to be sane in this mother freaking house. Okay. So we're going to talk about a couple things today. Again, I hope everybody's well. The weather is weathering. The sun simulator is simulating. I tell you, boy. Okay. So I'll wait until generally I like to wait to have our discussion until like about what 500. Okay. So it's boiling over there. Yo, I'm telling you, Seven, we supposed to be in the jungle. I think we've been abused. Uh-oh. Yeah. You know what's interesting? Whenever the NPCs spawn, you ever notice like you'll be fine. It was quiet. Y'all be I promise you. I promise you. Before I came on here, it was quiet. There wasn't anyone around. I'm waiting outside for some people, okay? Because I'm not going into the diabolicalness, right? So I'm waiting outside and I was like, oh, let me just do a live because I thought my video went out yesterday, but it didn't. Okay. So I figured I'd do a live today. But as soon as I came on here, y'all, all of the characters started to spawn and they're wearing weird outfits like jumpsuits and like with mushrooms and because they try to antagonize me with their with their outrageous character. I don't know if you pay more money in the simulation to get more outrageous. Like in video games, you have to put more. What is it like? You have to have more um, roadblocks, chips, or whatever you guys do, and you get more chips so you can have your characters look more outrageous or more similar to what you feel your avatar looks like, something like that, right? Okay. Why is YouTube playing with me? I couldn't. I couldn't expand my YouTube screen. They're out of control. I bet they're out of control. YouTube, YouTube is on the shenanigans. They're ran by Grays, in my opinion. I actually think YouTube is ran by Grays. I think it was ran by Grays always, but right now I think it's ran by super Grays, like the bioengineer kind, not the organic. When we talk about aliens and Grays, there's the governmental type. Most Grays that we would see, like on those fake alien Epstein files that they're slow feeding to everybody. I don't listen. I know that you guys get excited when your government gives you something and you think that they're giving you some truth. Oh, I've got a bee in the car. Hold on, y'all. Let me free him. If my little ones were in the car, I'd be like, let him out. I'm afraid. He's freed. Okay. I gotta let the bee out, y'all. My little ones get afraid whenever the bees in the car. I was like, you have to be peaceful. Bees are good for the environment. We need to leave them be. I won't go around killing bees. Okay. Okay, hold on. Let me. Oh, okay. So, what was I saying? Oh, I just lost my train of thoughts. Oh, I said you guys get rate. I said the YouTube is ran by grays. I actually think they're governmental grays, but there's different kind of grays, and everybody's so excited to get the alien Epstein files. Nothing is up to date. They're giving you like old footage. There isn't any context to it. Why do you get excited? It's like people telling you they're going to tell you the truth and they give you everything around it, like the top of the truth, the bottom, but they never give you the filling. Why do you get excited? They're giving you nothing. They're giving you pictures of things with no context. They're showing you old footage in the 1940s. Why don't you show us what happened to goddamn Florida Mall? With the portal that opened. Why don't you tell us your president, your orange gummy said he was going to give you the real deal on um the orbs and the orbs and those things flying in the sky at the beginning of 2025. Remember he said, "Oh, I'm going to tell you about the details, the orbs and the what do you call it? The flying aerial things. Now they make up terms like UAP, which wasn't a thing, and now they made up a new term, so now it confuses people more. Do not buy into the breadcrumbing, y'all. They just want to lull you to sleep and give you more distractions so that they can steal more of your money, steal more of your joy, suck up the life force that you have left, and then act like you're supposed to be happy and grateful for it. Don't let them get away with it, okay? These mother freakers are out of control. They are on 10 right now. They are on 10. They are on fleek. They are out. I'm holding my phone, y'all. I hope you don't mind. This is like back in the days when I used to do my Zooms. I do have a thing. Look at my hair's outrageous. Yeah. I promise you, I comb my hair sometimes when I come in the house. I told you I'm supposed to be in the jungle. I'm not supposed to even comb my hair. Be happy I have clothing on. And big up to the people that sit here and actually think, I'm going to talk to you fine folk. We'll just chat it up until we get to about 500. Big up to the people that think that because I interview anybody on my channel that I'm automatically having sexual relations with them. It's so amazing. Like other channels don't get accused of this. There are plenty of women on YouTube who have people on their channels occasionally, and they don't get accused of having sexual relations with every single person they have on their channel. Like this is the mentality of the mental illness, and I know it has to do with their own projection of what they want to do, so they project it on me. But let me clear this up, y'all. There isn't anybody I've had on my channel that I've had any sexual relationships with. Let me put it out there, and let me project it. There won't be anyone on my channel that I'm having sexual relationships with. Stop it already. I don't know what that's about. That's weirdo stuff. That's like really immature. Like a woman can't have a man on her channel without everybody projecting that they're having relations and calling her a slut and a whore and a concubine. There's like a crazy person out here now that is unhinged and is only unhinged because I had a particular man on my channel. And ever since I've had that man on my channel, she's been stalking me. She's out of control. She's mentally off, calling me all kinds of weird names, accusing me of having sex with every man on the channel I'm on. It's crazy. And this is a form of abuse that women go through, y'all. I'm just chatting with you. These are the type of things that women get abused. Like this is like you don't see men getting accused of sleeping with every woman that comes on their channel. But you see another woman will attack a woman for the very thing that maybe characteristically she does. And just totally torch her reputation because she feels a certain way about a man. It's so a shame. And then we talk about we're going into sisterhood. I don't know. Not when you have that kind of behavior still being insidious behavior still being an issue. Hold on now. Yeah, so I had to put that out there. I mean, you guys already know, but why is my color of my screen looking crazy, y'all? Hold on. My screen looks really funky. Hold on, let me see if I can fix. I don't know what's up with my screen, everybody. It's dark on my end. I hope you can see on this side. Okay. All right. Can you see me? Can you put a 13 if you can see me? I turned it off for a minute to see. I think it's something about the lighting, maybe because I'm outdoors. My phone does this kind of tinting because I can't really see you. Is it glitching? Can you guys see me? 13? Okay, 7 said you guys are good. Okay. I'm not shape shifting now. Okay, so this is my face. I just have my incognito sunglasses on in case any reptilians and grays approach me so that I can stay out of their mind control programming. All right, I thought I'd just state that. So please, anybody who's out here listening to people saying crazy things about Florona, I am a mother. As much as I don't know why you think that because a woman is busty and she's okay with her body, that automatically they're sleeping with the universe. Okay. And if you want to bring in statistics, because we're being messy, we're being peppermint petty patty, just for statistics, women generally who are bustier have the least amount of body count. They're generally not as sexually active with a lot of people. Just if that was something that you're sitting here thinking because I get demonized for being busty and being okay with my body. And if someone gets fake boobies and they're okay with it, no one says anything about it. It's amazing. Welcome to the hypocrisies. Oh, messy peppermint patty today. Check on in. I think we're gonna 300. I'm gonna start a little earlier. I can't really see you. Hold on. I heard a little shit. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay. All right. I could see you okay. I'm not shape-shifting. Usually I'd be like, oh, she's wearing sunglasses because her eyes are shape-shifting into reptilian. Not today. Not today. Okay. All right. So I think I'm going to start up. I'm not going to wait until 500 because I did an impromptu. I jumped in. So let's talk about the topic of discussion. We're going to talk about the harvesting, the data center harvesting, the 5, 6, 7 HE towers that are amplifiers, amplifications. I didn't put in the satellites in there because the satellites are helping the triangulation and the harmonizing disruptors that are messing with everyone's bodies right now. So check on in. So, we're going to talk about how right now they're basically getting rid of the population. I think we discussed on Zoom the other night the fact that the birth rate is down to 0 point something something. So the birth rate is basically to a whole. Even if you see babies being born, it's not to the capacity of how many people are dying. And we were actually on Zoom. Big up to the zombies. um we were discussing the fact that since 2020, the amount of it's like 3 point in the United States. I don't think we couldn't get the census on globally, but I will say this. There's a spike in deaths from 2020. We talked about the Cucarachi kill shot, and that was really relegated to the population to slowly kill off the population. The number one people that were affected were old elderly people and people who had any sort of health conditions. And if you go into your archives of the people that you know who've transitioned, it's so freaking hot, y'all. Okay, these people stop talking. Hold on. I don't do AC because I'm a jungle chicken. I like fresh air. It's unhealthy to have AC, get all the spores and all that craziness from your car. Anyway, so if you count all the people that have transitioned, including my mom, my grandmother, and I think many of you have known me over the years. So if you've known me over the years, you also realize that my father died. My parents have been married, were married like 50, almost 50 years, right? So my father died, I think, in 2017, if I'm not mistaken, 2016. But that's a little preempt, right? But he was already unwell. Even though he's super, super healthy, West Indian, just ate really healthy. This environment is very toxic for someone who's coming from very clean. Like if you're coming from another country where you're living in great weather, good jungle air, fresh food, fresh water, and you come into the diabolicalness of the Terror Dome, because we're living in the United Fix is the Terror Dome. Okay, your system will last a lot less because you've already come from a pristine place, and as soon as you come here your immune system gets compromised. Okay, now if you've been birthed in here like myself and most of you, like our immune system is used to the diabolicalness. Unfortunately, like we're like rats. We're like the rats, the hantavirus rats. Our immune system's fleek because we've been exposed to fake food, chemtrails all over the place, dirt, roaches crawl. Did you see the roach? Oracle shared that. Be careful, y'all. I'm about to take a sip of coffee now, but be careful with the drinks, y'all. There was like a roach inside this person's Tim Hortons. For those who are in Canada, it's big up to all my Canadians in here. I've never seen anything like that. I've lived in New York. I've never seen that. I thought we were being punked, but Oracle shared a video the other day of a Tim Hortons drink. For those who are in Canada, you know it. I've experienced Tim Horton when I was in Canada. Um, so in Canada, they have Tim Hortons, which is comparable to like our Dunkin' Donuts, I think, right? I think it's comparable. They had a whole big roach, and I'm not talking about a little one, y'all. I'm talking about a big roach, and it was still alive in the coffee, and they had the audacity to serve this woman a drink as if, y'all, I can't. How are you gonna serve a woman a whole? What was that part of? Was that like extra? Did she have to pay like a fee for the extra protein? I don't know, y'all. I seen a video. It was a real video, and the guy had the audacity to say, "Well, that because we have those shrinks, it's prepackaged. Sometimes it has comes with it." He didn't even apologize. Y'all. That's what I'm saying. Our immune systems for living on this motherfucker. Because those of us, big up to my New Yorkers, big up to the boroughs, big up to Brooklyn. Oh God, someone's parking organizer. Big up to Brooklyn, big up to Bronx, big up to Queens, Staten Island, Long Island, big up to Uptown, Harlem, Big up to the outer skirts, Westchester County, Joncas, New Rochelle, Mount Vernon, Mamaroneck. Who else? Pelham Parkway, Brooklyn. I said Brooklyn. Okay, so big up to all the New Yorkers. If you grew up in New York and from Philly, big up to our Philly family. Big up to our family in DC. Big up to our family in Chicago. Big up to our family where else? All the big cities. You know that you're eating like hot dogs and oh my god. Oh, the simulation people are loud, y'all. Oh my god. So big up to all the people. If you grew up in New York, you were exposed to a lot of pathogens by taking the subways. We took the steel horse all the time. You know, you're walking in the subway station, a lot of recycled air, not even recycled air, hot, funky urine, feces, funky air from the underground. Okay, so our immune systems have been really tolerable to the conditions that we've been coexisting in the Terra Dome. Now, hold on. And because of that, we don't get as affected by it, but after a long period of time of being constantly bombarded with a lot of these different types of energies and and germs and warfare, your immune system will break down after a while. But for those who come from cleaner countries, you're really jacked up. Like you guys get, my father, who was more so, and my grandmother. My mother was a little more tolerable, but they were really affected by the the amount of diabolicalness in our environment, more affected by it. Excuse me. So I'm gonna go into what's going on now and how it's really how your Willy Wonka system and the League of Doom, Elon Musky Dusty, is literally destroying your health by creating low fields, low frequency technology that is disharmonizing to the human body. What we're experiencing now is the degeneration of our environment that is making it less cohesive for human life and is making it more permissible for bioborgs, syntheticas, and androids and AI. And what a lot of people are experiencing is a lot of health issues like heart palpitations. We talked about this before. When you're looking at the Schumann resonance and it's off the charts and it's it's really cranked up, it's a combination of all the earth frequencies that are being um kind of monopolized by all these low elf waves that are being pushed and prodded because of the type of low field technology they're creating. So you have these towers. Now, years ago we talked about how many years I've been talking about 5G towers. So, we don't even want to talk about that because it's remedial to say it's 5G now. We have to assume at this point that 5G is now 6, 7, 8G. They've superseded. And let me just give a little pointer. This is my suggestion. You don't have to do it. It's up to you. But I would suggest if you have a phone, if you have LTE on your phone, if you go to your settings and you go and choose to take off 5G, I would do it. It's my suggestion. You don't have to do it. I'm just saying your body is being bombarded constantly, and the cell phones are definitely geoengineering frequencies that are non-harmonizing to the human body. Okay? So with along with the now added data centers, which is becoming a not only an eyesore, but an environmental toxin and um a weapon against the environment. So we're talking about the towers that are now. So when we were talking about 5, 6G, 7G towers before, and now adding, we found this out bigger to the zombies. We're talking about the data centers. Most people didn't realize that when we started to get really crumped up, like really agitated, a lot of people were like not going for it. So most people decided to go to their city hall meetings, their town hall meetings, their local meetings that discuss what goes on, new buildings being erected, new schools, budgets, whatever, what have you, and they were complaining. So Willy Wonka and his League of Doom, because they're diabolical, they're Satanists, they worship Baal, they eat children, they treat uh adrenochrome like it's a smoothie on a Saturday, like it's nothing. Okay. These are the type of beings we're dealing with. They already preempted that the humanity would come against them when it comes to, because remember the towers were like an eyesore. So it was easy to identify them. So if you remember the guy, this is like maybe 2019 or 2020, somebody could probably find the video. He it was like a guy in the UK. I don't know if he's living anymore. He was the first person we visually saw on video going up to the towers and trying to destroy it. Then we had a couple people. I gotta give a shout out to the UK family. Big up to our family in England. We got our homegirls. Big up to Monica, who's one of our own. Um, who were trying to really, their way of fighting the establishment of the system was trying to get rid of it, deface it, break it. One guy tried to crash into it, what have you. Okay. Now, mind you, we haven't seen anyone do that since those videos. And I would say that was maybe from 2019 to maybe 2021. We were seeing like little bits and pieces of people fighting against that by showing a aggression towards the actual towers themselves that they could see. But what most didn't understand is that Willy Wonka's League of Doom, they already preempt when people are going to go against something, so they started to hide it. And then the next order, which many of you saw, I think we talked about this many times. If you've been on my channel, we've actually seen the images of them putting the towers in trees. So cloaking the towers by putting trees and making it the tree, putting artificial trees and making it look like it's not a tower, right? Cloaking the towers as trees. Some of the pictures is so diabolical, it's so ghetto because we're living on a ghetto planet, right? In a ghetto hologram that's gone rogue from the Greys and others, right? So you would see the trees partially like the tower sticking out. It's just some were really sometimes undetectable and others were more detectable depending on the budget or the amount of um not a lot of care to really getting it right, right? To try to cloak it. So after they figured out that that probably wasn't going to work, people were going up to these trees that they knew weren't real because usually the trees were taller. They didn't look very natural. People would go into an EMF machine next to it and get this astronomical reading off of it. Then they decided to opt into giving people going to people's houses in local areas and local neighborhoods and incentivizing them to host 5G towers, mini towers in their homes for like $30,000 plus. Now, most of you are saying, "Oh, Flurburn, you're exaggerating. There's no such thing." You can look it up, y'all. They had many, and they have. Let me say this: we always talk about the smart meters. I'm going to throw in the smart meters in this, but this conversation is really based on the data centers and the 678G towers that are amplifiers. They were paying people $30,000. So you would have a neighbor who you may have not seen all the time, once in a blue. Maybe you thought they worked abroad. Maybe you thought they were always out of the house, but really you weren't realizing that this mother freaker had a whole tower, a carcinogen tower, a tower that's pumping high elf waves inside of your walls. Now, how do you know it's pumping in your walls? On any given day, you can go to your Bluetooth and check and see how many different um Wi-Fis that you see in your phone. And that's how many of Wi-Fi frequencies is going through your walls. Most people think, oh, well, I have walls. It doesn't matter if he has his Wi-Fi or a tower. Remember, the towers is a higher octave of what already you're putting in your house by choice with a Wi-Fi router. The tower is like 100 times more than that. So just imagine you have people's Wi-Fi going through your wall, frequencies going through your wall. That's why I say living in an apartment building now is a hazard to your health, to your wellness, to your mental health, and to your body long term. Living in a building where most towers are on top of the building, basically amplifying the effects of each person's router inside the house, you're literally living in a Fahrenheit that is all the radiations inside of it. Okay. So now you know that they're putting in the towers in people's houses. People are living with towers in their houses and they're getting paid a nice chunk of money because Willy Wonka, as long as they pay people, they'll sell out their people like online. Just like online, you have people online that are being incentivized and paid by Willy Wonka governmental officials to promote a certain narrative. And you think they're organic. And I'm going to go into the artificial people that are online too, because remember, I know I'm segueing into another part, but this is all interrelated. When we talk about NPCs or people that are holographic people, what I noted is that that's not just relegated to you walking around and seeing them. That is also online. These people who have channels who you can't vet out if they're real or not. Some of these people are holographic NPCs, not even just AI. Just like we have NPCs walking around in a holographic system, they're spawning. We have them online. We have regular people that are being paid by Willy Wonka to spin a certain narrative, and they get paid a lot of money to promote certain sort of political agendas, like for one party or another. Because if you're still bipartisan, you're still under heavy mind control. If you are still vying for one politician or another, you are heavily indoctrinated, just like the people obsessed with Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha. Those are all artificial constructs that were created for mind control programming. And if you are still pumping those type of projections out here that you support a candidate, a party, a religious person, you are heavily indoctrinated, and you should probably think about either trying to detox off of your mind control programming, or basically opting out of thinking that you're going to send out of this holographic system. So now we have towers in people's houses, but now it's come to our awareness, my awareness, that not only are they putting towers in people's houses, they have mini data centers inside people's homes in your neighborhood. So when you're feeling your knees starting to get shaky, your equilibrium is off, you're hearing ringing that does not stop, like ringing that does is so consistent that you're a little concerned that you may have to go to the doctor, because if that sucker keeps on going, you know you're going to go mad. You got people walking around here who are literally having headaches on a cylindrical clock because it's on a clock of the system of electro. I gotta watch these NPCs, they're getting hostile right now, so I gotta make sure the NPCs behave themselves. Okay. They run on a clock, so you may have a headache it's every time of the month. Now, I'm not talking about menses headache. I'm not talking about those of us who are still menstruating. I'm talking about a headache that's a pattern headache that you get every 25 days, every 15 days, like clockwork. Okay. You know why you're getting that headache like clockwork? Because it's on a clock. It's on a systems clock. It's on a electronic clock, and they're running something at the same time every time of the month. That's why you get the same symptoms at the same time. And now, big up to Cody who was doing Spirit Box. I realized that there's a Spirit Box channel, Cody, and the spirits actually were talking about the harmony disruptor. I want to give credit because I saw it on Cody's channel. And he does spirit box, he does like celebrities and so on. Sometimes he just lets it go rogue where you hear the spirits just talking randomly to each other. And not only were they talking about the disease, but they talked about this harmony disruptor that messes with people. And as I've seen and you noted, and we've talked to everyone on here, we like to do our own little beta tests on the channel. We found out that everyone was having about 2 weeks ago, everyone was having weird symptoms like knee inflammation. One of our CISOs, big up to New Diamonds, she shared that something happened to her hands, and it was happening systematically. Like people are getting swelling in their body parts just out of the blue. No, there isn't any injury attached to it. Just literally just showing up. And about 2 weeks ago, roughly about what is it, like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks, roughly around 2 weeks ago, everybody planetarily was getting weird kind of symptoms that weren't denoted to having any kind of injury, or there wasn't any sort of um preamp to it. And it made me think that not only are they pumping these frequencies with these electronic bioweaponries that they have set on the ley lines, purposefully for probably harvesting energy, maybe giving, big up to, I think, Delmache said Ducateers, I see Ducateers had said, I think it was Ducateers, right? Delmache. He said the data centers on top were basically uh centers for them to get electricity in their underground tunnels, which could very well be the case. But you know now that nothing on the surface can survive that. They're not going to be able to survive the electromagnetic frequencies that are pulsating that are not intended for human form. That's why they're pushing so heavily for electronics and AI to run everything. Why then do you see, you go to places and you don't see any cashiers anymore? The number of cashiers is limited. You'll go in the store now, you got maybe like a couple of people shopping, and there's like no cashiers. You get one cashier who's basically watching you like you're a criminal. Okay, your groceries haven't gone down, your groceries are still high as heck, right? You're paying higher groceries to bag your own groceries, which is insidious to me. Okay, you would think the price of groceries would go down because you're not paying for people anymore for working. You're now allowing electronic systems to run and be able to have people check themselves out. Okay. Why do you think they started to push that? And it started about 2019. If you remember, all these things started to come about probably 2015, but really started to roll out when they did the test cities for 5G towers, which Orlando, big up to my family in Orlando. Many of you know I lived in Orlando forever, right? And I didn't realize Dr. Don, big up to Dr. Don, who was on my channel. Dr. Don had said one day, hey, Orlando is a beta test city for 5G. And I realized, like, when I first moved to Orlando in 2011, I was fine. And then all of a sudden, like 2015, I started to get heart palpitations. And I didn't realize that they were running a beta test to see if they could run low elf waves and see how it affected the population and animals. Now, thus, we can always go back and sync this into the black birds that were falling out of the sky in was it Arkansas? It was Arkansas, I think. 2011. I did the video on that. 2011 it started. Arkansas, the blackbirds was January. I reported on this back then. So I know this. I think it was Arkansas though, if I'm not mistaken. Someone could correct the city. I think it was a state. But it was Arkansas. Blackbirds fell out of the sky, okay? We saw that. And then this is what I'm talking about, the cylindrical pattern of your headaches and your body. A year later, like clockwork, another set of blackbirds fell out of the sky again the same time. Now, why does blackbirds matter and why wasn't any other birds? Remember, black is a absorber of energy. And when something's black, it will pull in frequent. That's why people with darker skin, because it pulls in radiation. Okay. There's a reason why people with darker skin absorb more radiation, but they usually can transmute it. The blackbirds, for some reason, weren't able to do that, and a lot of them had their heads exploded. And then after the fact of 2011, 12, you started to see random birds of all different colors and species falling out of the sky. And they weren't just doing these beta tests on they weren't just doing this beta test on just the sky or in the air, they were also doing it in the water. And then you start to see beach whales come about, dolphins beaching, fish showing up dead on the beach, like hundreds. Remember Florida? I was living in Florida, y'all. Hundreds of fish coming up onto the surface dead. Okay, this is all a byproduct of diabolical frequencies that they are rolling out, and they are slowly boiling people's endocrine systems. And if you notice with Kukarachi kill shot, because that was another amplifier and that was a beta test. I told you that first so-called pandemic, okay, scamdemic, that was a beta test, y'all. I know it looked real. Many of you, it's my opinion, but I was here in real time documenting everything. It was a scandemic. They fluffed the numbers up, making it seem like everyone was dying before they introduced the the Kukarachi kill shot, because they had to pump fear in you, thinking that, oh my God, if you don't get the kill shot, you're gonna die because all these people. That was all fluff. That was all bait and switch. That was all um you know um that was all a lie to make you fearful enough to go and participate in the biological weaponry so that you would be one to eventually be taken out slowly. Okay. So when that didn't work, they went to your jobs and corporations and they made your jobs and corporations put these made it enforced that you participate in the biological weapon system. Okay. So that being said, I'm just giving you a rollout of what happened back in the days. And what's happening now is that those who took the Kukarachi kill. Now, remember, my channel, I was the first person on YouTube, and I take full credit for it because I had heard what was going on in China from a homegirl who was telling me to watch my children because she was seeing people drop. And remember, we were seeing people doing that death roll. Nobody even talks about it anymore. That's I think majority of people on YouTube are NPCs. They're not real. Why is nobody talking about the death roll? Remember when those people walking around in a circle and then and planking out? Like they were walking around in a circle and just plank out, and like they were seeing something in the sky and just drop dead. Do you remember when the animals were going in a circle around things? Like they were just walking around in a circle, like man would go outside in his farm and the animals are just walking. Why is no one talking about that? And the movie, because you know they always have a movie along to give you, to gaslight you a little more, is Cell. Remember Cell at the end of the movie? The guy didn't even know he was dead, or he was basically under mind control by the electronics, the electrical field, and he was going around in a circle. Okay? Remember the ants were going around the phone? These are frequencies, y'all, and they mess with your synapses. It messes with your ability to remember things. So if you feel like all of a sudden, and I'm talking to the choir, y'all. I'm talking to the choir. If you feel like you can't remember things, like you're having a hard time, like it's even me. Anytime I'm in the United Fix, and I'm about to be out in United Fix again, y'all. I try to come back to United Fix because I love being in United Fix. I love my people in United Fix, but it's a slow kill. They're doing it everywhere. I'm not going to make it seem like if I leave, it's going to be better. They got other forms of electronic assault on others. It's just a slower roll. Okay. United States is 0 point. It's where it is the Thunderdome. You remember the Thunderdome? Like Mad Max and the Thunderdome? This is where we're existing right now. It is Mad Max, it is a clown show. We're living under a tent and we're experiencing the ultra, the ultra biological frequency weapons, and it's called a deharmonizer, harmony disruptor. And they are doing it to the point where now majority of people are feeling exhausted. They feel like they don't, and we're not talking about people a little more seasoned like myself or older. Yeah, they're getting it. We're talking about our young, beautiful sea stars and sun stars. They're feeling tired and hampered as if their energy's been sucked and they don't have a qualification for it. They don't have any clarification where it's coming from. It's like they're not working out crazy, right? They're not doing anything too insane. You know, when you're young, you run around, you have the capability of doing what you want to do, and as you should. Okay. They have harmony disruptors. And I showed you online when I tested my dogs, and all of them were emitting a frequency. And I actually think the pets are being used to set more frequencies in the house. They're weaponizing everything. When you take your dogs and cats to go get double shotted with vaccines and they're telling you got to do it every year, that makes no sense. One should last them a life. And I don't believe in all that. But you bring them home and your dogs and your cats are emitting a frequency, and and they're laying on you and they're basically emitting it inside of your body. They're weaponizing even our pets, y'all. Big up to Gail. I gotta have Gail. Gail, where are you, Gail? Gail, who wrote Rainbow Food Rocks. I love Gail. Gail was supposed to be on here a couple weeks ago. Gail, I keep forgetting. Gail, you gotta come on here because listen, y'all, we did these videos years ago, and Willy Wonka and his League of Doom. They made sure they took down our videos. I think Gail has one on her channel still. We did videos on the shots, on the inoculations. This is before the whole thing with Willy Wonka. With the Kukarachi kill shot in 2020. This is way before. See, Fleur Brune has been on the block enough to see things full circle. We were doing the videos on the inoculations and how all of a sudden New York City and Connecticut were putting fines on parents for not getting vaccines. And then not only were they fining parents, which they never did before, they were starting to push out inoculations for adults, which was not. And this is, y'all, this is before cucarachas. That's why you see the writing on the wall before they roll something out. You're always going to see it. Like, it's not being psychic, it's using your critical thinking skills. You got to use your mind. You got to see the writing on the wall, because they're going to always tell you they're going to do certain things. They always preamp things, they always do beta tests. And we did video, and Willy Wonka, right before 2020 rolled out, they every single of those videos, bam, off, bam, taking them off. No, and YouTube will tell you why they take things off. They're like, oh, we're taking this video off for copyright. We're taking this video off. No, 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 no. They just would take the video off and not even say anything. That's what lets you know what the agenda is. And stop copping and caping for political people, because all of them are letting these things roll out. Where's the orange gummy when we're talking about frequency assault? The same man who told you, oh, I'm going to tell you the secrets of the UFOs. I'm going to tell you what the UAPs are that are flying out. Remember, he said that? Oh, I'm going to tell you what those UAPs. He's like, no, don't worry. I'm going to tell you what the UAPs are and what the drones are and all that stuff. Did he ever tell you? They're rolling out all these UFO Epstein files. Has anyone come out from your political systems, whether it's your president, your congressman, your senate, has anyone told you what those are? Has anyone given you context to the amount of images that you're seeing? Can they tell you what they are? You're seeing images you have no context for. We watched an image. Big it's a Brother Rich. I was on Brother Rich's show. Big it's a Brother Rich. You could see my whole interview on Brother Rich's show on Empires 363. I love Brother Rich. Big up to Brother Rich. And I appreciate Brother Rich, because most of the other people are afraid. I don't even know they're afraid of me. They just won't accept certain things that I say, even though I have a long history of valid points and validity in the contact that I have. Brother Rich has literally allowed me to come on the platform and speak about my experiences, and I really appreciate him for that, because he doesn't have to do it. I'm the only woman who's had contact for years and is allowed to go on and talk about it finally, because all the UFO community, I'm like the number one X off their possibility of talking, even though you have people who are drunk, high, and throwing up and going to conferences and talking about they're blowing up the alien bases. I just don't get it. I actually do. Um, so thank you, Brother Rich. But what I was gonna say is, right now, each of you has to be really and listen, it's being rolled out so fast. So it's like, this is like a message I couldn't even give you a early enough time to deal with it. Your bodies are feeling it. I'm feeling it. Okay? And it's worldwide, y'all. I don't want to make it seem like if you go to Africa, you go to somewhere, they rolling it out. That's why you have your gummy, orange gummy, going to every country, and just he's destabilizing the countries that have autonomy with frequency. Cuba has autonomy. Cubans are not experiencing frequency weapons, but now, because you've destabilized them, because you've taken away their fuel that allows them to exist with autonomy, he's doing that so he can go into the country and put more frequency weapons so he can kill off that population. He's making sure that, he's saying that Venezuela, which was another sovereign nation, you're going to arrest a whole president of somebody else's country, which is crazy to me, not with no due diligence and any other country being able to say anything. Now you're going to roll out more frequency weapons in Venezuela, because these are countries that had autonomy. And then you have Iran. Now, mind you, I really think all of these things are all together in a certain way. I don't really think there's much um I think the higher ups are all working in sync. I don't think we really have as much separation as they're proposing to us out here. But I will say this: all of the countries that don't have 5G, 6G towers, they're going in there and going to infect them, because they need to make sure before the reset and pole shift that they kill off the majority of the population. Now, listen, y'all. Georgia Guidestones, if you had a chance, I think you guys remember, I was on my way to Georgia Guidestones in state is when they just destroyed it. And some people like, oh, Flurban, do you think you're that important? I didn't think I was that important until I'm over by the Georgia Guidestones. And while I'm in Georgia to see the Guidestones, they blow them up and say a freaking a lightning thing struck it down. When does lightning strike concrete and destroy something to the point where they have to totally clear it off completely? This is all provable. I don't tell you anything that, there isn't any fabrication. The zombies were on. Quite a few were with me when I was on my ride with my family in Georgia at the Guidestones. So I was all documented, film and everything. And as soon as Flurburn shows up on the block, it blows up. What did the Guidestones tell you? It told you how many people are going to be killed, the depopulation of people. And I'm going back to when I was with the Zombies, big up to the Zombies again. When we're on a Zombie, we're on a Zoom and we're looking, I asked to see how many people were killed from 2020 to 2021. Hold on now. And it was crazy to me that before 2020, we had a normal death rate, and after that, the spike is like 3 million something a year. And in the last 4 years, five, no, it's 4 years because it didn't count 2025. It was over 16 million people died from 2020, y'all. 16 million people are dead. Regardless of what it is, we can have our own thoughts and opinions on it. That's a lot of people dying. Oh, that spiked over the years from 2020 to now. You have these rolling out frequencies that I think I'll show it on Zoom another time. I think I showed it on here before. At nighttime, when you and I are going to sleep, which I rarely get sleep, but we're saying for the average person sleeping, they have pulse frequencies that are pulsing on a clock going across the country in different time zones is when people are resting, and they're pulsing these frequencies when you're sleeping. Why are they doing that? Y'all, I am even going to go as far as saying that the majority of people you're seeing around here were probably replaced by right by like Westworld, like Westworld did. Remember Westworld? People were going on vacation. They were going in a certain place, depending on which Westworld you watch. They were going to a vacation. They were replaced. I seen one of the YouTubers is one of my ops who copies everything I do. If I wear my hair a certain way, if I wear sunglasses in a car, she copies. And I just used to think she was just a copycat or just like she was like weird, like like single white female, like single black female kind of thing. I just thought she was like creepy and weird. That's Big Bird. Just always copying. Like if I have a scarf on my head, she wears a scarf. If I wear sunglasses in a car, she does it. But there was one time I was on with Skyhawk. Big up to Skyhawks. Skyhawk is going to be back on, y'all, next weekend. I mean, this weekend. No, is it this weekend? This weekend coming up, I think. Big up to Skyhawk. Skyhawk and me did a video and pre-taped it. That's how I know we have holographic people online and we can't verify that they're real. And they're not going to any meet and greets because they're not real. So you won't know. That's why it's nice to meet people in person. That's why I do agree with that. But this person, I was doing a preempted video. No one saw us. Remember, I'm taping it while I'm on Zoom. Why did the holographic bird wear her hair exactly how I wore my hair, but the video wasn't even out yet? See, before I thought she was just a copycat. I was like, "Oh, she's just a copycat. She's just one of those like weird kind of stalker people online." No, 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 no. I thought that. I really did. I really didn't accredit her for being holographic or something artificial, but until she mimicked my exact look, but she never saw the video because the video wasn't released yet. Then I was like, ding, 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 ding. Holy cow. There are holographic people online. Listen, you anybody. She's got a whole family. You see her do things, but you don't see her in person. That's my call. Unless she's like part of the CIA and she's got eyes and ears in my Zoom, which could always be a possibility because Willy Wonka's League of Doom, they got all kinds of eye spies all over the place. So that's another plausibility. But I thought it was really odd. And it made me start thinking, oh my God, how do we know half of these people are real online? If we're talking about having holographic Sims walking around, people just basically spawning out of nowhere, it would be actually a lot easier to have artificial constructs of people and of entities and online. They make it seem like we have, oh, you could check, you could find out AI, you can detect AI. We're not talking about AI. We're living with holographic beings that have higher forms. You'll go outside and see them. So what say you that you couldn't see them online? Why wouldn't they be on a YouTube channel? If they could be walking around the streets holographically, what makes us think they couldn't make a YouTube channel and be look organic? Y'all. So, I don't want to yell at you about this. So let's kind of get to the point because I'm kind of just going all over the place. We're being harmonically disrupted, not even just daily, but momently, like every moment. They're using our Wi-Fi signals in our house. They're using our towers that are not just down your road on your street, but could be very much in a neighbor's house. They're using our cell phones. They're using our computers. If you have any smart meters, everything in your house to basically slow cook you. You ever see a crab and it's cruel? Like my mom, I- my mom was conscious, but like she's, like typical woman, island woman who's cooking. They cook the crabs, they cook them slowly while they're still living. It's so cruel. You know how many times I tried to free the crabs from her, and she thought I was really being over the top and too eccentric. Okay. Um, they're doing this to humanity. They have to do. I think we always talk about population control like it's nothing. Why do you think they push for us to have same-sex relations? You got to ask yourself that question. People are like, oh, live and let live. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about an organic person who falls in love with same sex. We're talking about the push and the incentivizing of it. Why do you think that they're creating disharmony between men and women? And I used to think it was just brown men and brown women. No, 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 no. Bigger to my other family. I got Luna girlfriends. I got Asian girlfriends. I got my Latina homegirls. Everybody got problems now. Relationships are not as easy. It's not conducive. It's very transactional, very artificial. You can buy a whole torso online for $39.99. Men are not incentivized to want to be with women and vice versa, unless it's transactional. That's very non-organic. Oh, y'all. Oh, hold on. I got company. Come on in. All right, y'all. So anyway, my people are back in the car. I gotta be out. I can't be talking reckless while they're in here. But just think of it. This is food for thought, and I thought I'd share this with you. And let me know how you feel about this. Let me know if this is happening to you, if you're feeling it. And again, I'm gonna come in probably, I don't know, tomorrow, and we'll do a Zoom together. And I'm gonna get some of your opinions of what's going on with you. So we can get firsthand opinions on how you're feeling and you feel this is relative. All right. So I'm sorry I had to end it. I got people in my car, so I gotta end it and go about life. I talk to you when I have time, but now time has ended, so I gotta go on to my next destination. But thank you for coming in, and I'm gonna try to come on tomorrow and see if we can do a Zoom together and just get your opinion. I don't want to just be someone who talks about it. I want to see what's going on with y'all. All right. So thank you for listening to me in this video. Please put a like on the video. I really appreciate it. And we will talk soon. Okay. Peace out.